Welcome to Ionios. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was available on the Nintendo Switch in July 2022. Although this is technically the last installment of a trilogy, it is a self-contained story and anyone wanting to start with this game won't miss out or need to know anything prior. I have never played the first one, mostly because I never owned a new 3DS to play it, and I have about 40 to 50 hours in the second installment, but never beat it. For the record, I did enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I just took a break from it and found it really hard to get back into it, just due to how complex it was. So, just how good is Xenoblade Chronicles 3? And my answer? It's good. Actually, it's great. I actually have to rack my brain trying to find actual flaws with this game, but I'll try my best. Kevis and Agnes are in an endless struggle against each other. Each side has multiple colonies in which they have a machine called the Pharaonis, each containing a flame clock. The flame clock directly correlates with life, so if your colony's flame clock is empty, you might as well be dead. In order to fill your flame clock, you must battle and basically steal the opposition's life. Then a fated encounter between 3 Kevnesses, Noah Union Lands, and 3 Agnesses, Neo Taiyo and Senna, were given the power of the Ouroboros and were free from the flame clock's torturous control. Then they were told that if they wanted to know the truth of the world and the power that they were given, they had to travel to the mountains shaped like a sword. The story is so good, and this is the main highlight of the game. There are a lot of cutscenes, both funny and emotional. Some people hate games that have a lot of cutscenes because then it might as well be a movie. Yeah, whatever. The story is one of the best I've ever seen in a while, and I never felt there was a time I was complaining whenever there was a cutscene. They're well placed and they're just really cool. I do have to say that there are tons of cutscenes and they're longer than what you typically see in similar games. But the cutscenes here have a lot of meaning and are entertaining. But I know this will annoy people who don't like cutscenes. I also have to say that at one point towards the last third of the game, there's an hour-long cutscene, I think. But I can assure you, if you made it that far, then you'll love that cutscene. It's good. I just kinda wish I had a warning so I could pop popcorn or something, but it is what it is. I also have to point out how consistent the story is throughout this 70+ hour game. There are games like Tales of Arise that are obviously a full and complete game, but there's a clear defining first and second half to the game. Xenoblade feels like a whole complete story that doesn't have a time skip or anything to define clear spots of change, which is refreshing to see in such a long game like this. One of my favorite things to do is the hero quests. I don't really want to get into this as much because I know people will want to experience these for themselves. However, they are really fun to do as the story along with it is really cool and you could potentially get them as a guest character too. There are only a few hero quests that are part of the main questline, so I highly recommend finding these hero quests whenever you can. The graphics are really good for Switch standards. Ionios is very big and there's tons to explore. I thought the worlds in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 were big. I'm pretty sure this is bigger with even more stuff to do, which blows my mind. Monolith is really pushing the limits of the Switch, which makes me wonder if they do the unthinkable and make Xenoblade on the PlayStation or PC. How much cooler could it be? But either way, even on the Switch, it looks really good. The characters are also very well written and look very unique. There are lots of characters in this game. The main cast are all great characters and they all have their time to shine. You may not like some of them at first, but I can guarantee you, you will grow to love them all. Even the characters that are not part of the main cast are very good. My personal non-main cast favorite character is Ethel. Whoever dual wields swords is instantly a favorite for me. The main cast is probably the best I've seen in a while. They each have their own trait/trope that anyone can be familiar with. But their journey and growth and how they interact with each other throughout their adventure is a treat. Remember, they were born to hate and kill each other, but then they turn into one happy, dysfunctional family, which is pretty cool to see. The music is really good. When I realized early that the main instrument would be the flute, I was expecting the worst. But honestly, it's just really cool and the flute itself is kind of a motif in this story as well, which is pretty cool. Normal encounter and boss encounter musics are a treat, the field music is relaxing, the music in certain cutscenes are really emotional. The music is just so good and fits with the whole theme of the game. Similar to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it's a much slower paced action-based combat to the point to where it almost can be a turn-based. I remember watching Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on, I think it was like the 2017 E3 presentation, and I saw how slow the combat was, and I was like, what is this, a Resident Sleeper game? How could anyone want to play a slow-paced game? But after playing it, it's actually pretty fun, and the slower pace helps you follow along with what's going on. In the first few hours, you'll be playing as Noah with Union lands being controlled by an AI. Then you'll eventually have a turn to play as both lands and Uni to teach you the main class's roles, in a somewhat small-scale battle. So when you expand from 3 people to 6 people, you'll understand the method in the chaos. And you thought 6 people fighting all at once was a lot? You'll reach a point where you can bring a guest character to fight, bringing the total to 7 people fighting at once. It may sound a lot, but I honestly think it's cool seeing all of your party members fighting at the same time, rather than seeing some people get benched. Each character is separated into 3 main classes: Attacker, Defender, and Support. Attackers focus on dishing out damage, Defenders focus on taking enemy aggro, and Support does various buffs, but mostly healing. Having a balanced team is crucial, or else you'll have issues where you'll have no one able to res, or everyone taking damage since no one's taking aggro, or you can't just straight up deal damage. And these main classes are broken down into subclasses that you can obtain throughout the game. These subclasses determine what skills they can use. As you level up the class, you can inherit these skills, so then even if you are on support duties, you can still just whip out a sword skill for no reason. So in a way, it's similar to Fire Emblem Three Houses, where anyone can be anybody. And maybe about 5 to 8 hours in, you get the ability to interlink, which allows you to fuse with a certain ally and basically turn into a mech for a short amount of time. At first, I thought there were a way to dish out massive damage, but they kinda don't. And not until like halfway through my playthrough, I realized it was more of the skills that are useful. If I was in a bad situation, I just interlinked so my healers can res a bit easier, and just try to build up my chain attacks as fast as I can. The pacing from learning and allowing you to do more things in combat is given to you at a good pace. You're not at full strength until maybe 20 hours in. When I saw all the locks and requirements at the beginning of the game, I was kinda bummed. But in hindsight, I'm actually glad that they did it, or else I would have spent time in the menus just being overloaded with information. One minor issue I have is just how tanky the bosses are. All enemies, and I mean all enemies, are bullet sponges. But bosses are the spongiest of sponges, which isn't a bad thing, especially having some game time in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But I feel like there should be something else going on in combat. There are skills that require positioning for extra damage, interlinking, chain attacks, and the break topple daze burst combo thingy. But I think it just needs one more thing to kill the time of slowly plinking the bosses. But from the things I stated just now, it's already plenty, so the devs probably didn't want to overcomplicate the combat more. I don't know, it was just something I kind of had an issue. My only real complaint is the lack of personal traits for the main cast in combat. The class system kind of adapts the Fire Emblem Three Houses model that I mentioned earlier, that anyone can be anybody, but it's not necessarily clear in what the character excels at. I think the real difference between the characters is the stat distribution, but I think they should also add like a personal passive trait to each of them that helps define them. Similar to Fire Emblem's personal abilities, they're just an extra ability unique to that character. Only so it helps define them and make the characters more unique. One example could be Uni dealing extra damage after picking up an ally, mostly because she's the rudest party member and is a healer, ironically, so would help characterize the main cast a bit more in combat. Going back to the question, just how good is Xenoblade Chronicles 3? It's a really, really good game. It's really hard for me to think of any critique I have for the game. It's a wonderful story in a beautiful world, lots of characters that are involved in the whole world, whether it's through quests or the Collectopedia. If you've played a Xenoblade game before, I don't know why you haven't tried this game yet. If you've never played a Xenoblade game and you love a good story, I would highly recommend this game. I think people that don't like a slow burn type game meaning many cutscenes, slow battle, takes time for big things to happen, then I guess you can wait for the new and same Call of Duty game that they release every year, I guess. But there's just so many positives about this game, it's almost a shame that the barrier for people not trying this out is either it's on the Switch, never played a Xenoblade Chronicles and feel uncomfortable playing the last entry of a trilogy, and 3, it looks complicated. But if your reasons are 2 and 3, I can assure you, it's good. Xenoblade 3 is a self-contained story, meaning you don't need to know any prior information to fully enjoy the experience. And the game holds your hand through the more complicated stuff, so you don't feel like you're being overloaded with information. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. I plan on doing more of these reviews for any game I decide to play, and I will most likely be streaming them. See ya.